What's up, guys? Okay. This is the Instructor holster from First Wave Holsters. Fairly new company. I picked this one up from them over a year ago. Yeah, it's been over a year ago. Don't remember the exact date. Brain's getting old, things get forgotten. But I know it's been over a year, and I've used it a pretty doggone good amount over the last year. And I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys about them now that I've spent some time with this holster and can give you my accurate thoughts and tell you whether or not I like it or not. So, long story short, no, I don't like it. I love it. Absolutely, hands down, love it. In fact, this is my new top of the list #1 go-to outside the waistband holster. Now, if any of you have been carrying a handgun for any amount of time and doing it seriously, you already know that you pretty much typically accumulate a box full of holsters over the years. Because you get something, you try it, you like it, but it doesn't work exactly like you want. So then you try something else, and then the same situation, then you try something else. And because not every holster works the same way for everybody. Holsters can be somewhat unique, and what works for one person doesn't for another. What one person likes, another one doesn't like. You got to find that one that works for you. That's been my story with outside the waistband belt holsters. I have went many years trying to find the one that I like the most. And while probably back in, I want to say 2012-ish, was when I finally got one that was a 90% solution for me. Excuse me. So I ended up just sticking with it for the last 11 years, or 10 years really, last year. I just stuck with it for the last 10 years, even though it wasn't perfect. The problem that I had with it was after about 6 hours of wearing it, it kept creating a couple of hot spots that just got uncomfortable. So, I mean, it was doable, but that was the one downside to it. So, when I got this one, I was very anxious to see how it would work, because it's a bit of a departure from some of my previous holsters. Now, it is Kydex, obviously, and it's a clamshell design. There's two halves to it, but the belt attachments are out of laser cut Tegris material, if my memory serves me correct. That's very flexible but very strong material, and it's really rigid and stiff this away. I have worn this holster for upwards of 12 hours at a time and would forget that I had it on. Not only has it been ridiculously comfortable, but it's very secure. It keeps the gun right where I want it at. It doesn't flop around. There's no issue of retention, etc., so on and so forth. It is hands down my favorite. Now, a couple things to point out. You do have on here a tensioning screw to adjust the retention. As with most good ones, the retention's around the trigger guard. This one is for Glock holsters. And I say Glock holsters because it fits, obviously, my 19, which is my go-to, but the bottom is open, and if you'll notice, the sight channel is open, so that you could, should you want to, stick something like a Glock 17 in this same holster. You have just a little bit of slide and barrel exposed, obviously, because it's longer, but you could do it even though it's for 19. Also, just so you know, I don't have the retention super tight. I've kind of got it right in the middle. It's not super loose, not super tight. Kind of right where I like it. And even there, it's not coming out. But when you go to draw it, when it's on your belt, it comes out nice and smooth. You've got a good solid lockup. And you'll notice that when I grip the gun, right, I've got a full grip up underneath the trigger guard. I don't know if you can see that. It is cut just under or just above the bottom of the trigger guard. So when I grip it, I have a full standard firing grip. See the web in my hand? On the gun as it clears the holster. There's none of this having to draw and then readjust your grip as you're coming up to fire. That little bit right there is something that not all holsters can say they provide. Another good point that I love about this holster, even though this 19 is my long-time go-to best buddy, it will also work with my 19X, which is my second favorite, perfectly fine. And the reason I say it works with it perfectly fine is because the 19X differs from the 19 in two areas, or at least my older 19. Different mag release, and you've got an ambi slide stop. There are some Kydex magazines out there that do not accommodate the newer gen Glocks with the ambi slide stop on there, or the mag catch ends up being a problem. With the way this one is cut for the mag catch, it clears my older 19 mag catch just fine, and it works just fine with the newer right there. The other thing is it has an allowance right here for the ambi slide stop, so it clears both of them just fine, and it doesn't cause a problem when you're running just a standard 19. Works samey fine either way. For a belt holster, outside the waistband belt holster, magnifique. And I don't even know if that's proper French. Don't really care. I just like the way it sounded. This is a holster that keeps the gun very stable. Keeps it nice and tight into my belt, into my hip. I can tighten my belt down and it doesn't move. The way the Tegris attachment works lets it tighten down good. It'll accommodate up to, I think, 1 3/4 inch belt. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1 3/4 inch belt. Does great. I'm trying to think if I missed anything about it. Don't think I did. As far as options, I know the Glock 19 is an option. I believe a couple of different versions of the M&P are options, and I think things like the SIG 365 and that family, I can't remember exactly because it's been a while since I went and looked, but anyway, there's that. So I will, as always, I'll put a link in the description box to the website. If for some reason the overlords won't allow that, I will put a link to my blog, and the link to the website will be on the blog. Or you can just go search it. First Wave Holsters. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Might not be for you, but it is for me. So I just wanted to share that, guys. I'm in love with this holster. It's doing everything I want it to do, and then some. It has greatly exceeded my expectations. So that said, check it out if you're so interested or so inclined. What else? I think that's it. You guys take care, stay safe, get out there and train, and regardless of whatever holster you decide to go with and use, make sure you get out there and practice and train with it, because without practicing and training with it, you're not going to know if it works, and it ain't going to do you much good regardless. So, y'all take care, stay safe. I will see you later.